either. And I don't think many Americans are. We need to release these files. The fact that we're talking about in this very legislation allowing ICE goons to inspect 12-year-olds, to unclothe them and check for, purportedly check for gang tattoos. I mean, is the Jeffrey Epstein saga alive and well? And if so, who's participating in it? We need those files opened. We need those names exposed. The American people have not forgotten. They will not forget. This is important. And I support the amendments that are coming on this bill. The Jeffrey Epstein saga and the Kayla Hamilton Act are interrelated, and the relief that our children need is interdependent as well. And so I'm going to, and I'm not going to sit by while folks continue to cast aspersions on the motivations of the ranking member for leading this effort. And with that, I will yield back.
Gentleman yields back.
Mr. Speaker, or Mr. Chairman, I've already given you a title.
Yes. Gentleman from Texas recognized.
Yeah, but my colleague from Georgia, you sat back for 4 years when Joe Biden was president. I'm curious, and I really do mean this, because the ranking member, you read the letter that you were raising hell back when you were in your position. Will someone, and I will yield to you, will someone answer for me why Joe, let me ask the question first. And I'm going to take my time back if you don't answer the question, because I want the question answered.
I will happily answer.
Why did Joe Biden not release these files, and why did none of you come out and call for the release of these files when Joe Biden was president? Why did you wait until it became a political issue if your motivations are so pure? Mr. Goldman, yes, I'll yield to you.
So, first of all, the reason why this has become such a big issue.
No, that wasn't the question. The question was, why did you all not push the Biden admin to release the files?
Right.
Why did not one of you say Joe Biden's Justice Department should release these files, and if he doesn't, damn it, I'm going to get a discharge petition?
So
why didn't anyone do that?
I'm trying to answer. That we were not aware, I think it's safe to say, that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files.
No, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. Everyone in this room knew about Epstein. It was a huge national story. I'm asking you, why did Joe Biden not release the Epstein files? It's irrelevant who may or may not have been in them. Why didn't you care about these victims? Irrespective of the fact that your political opponent could or could not be attached to these files, why weren't you guys calling out the Joe Biden administration to release the files? Please, someone answer.
I'm trying to answer.
Well, you didn't. I'll let Ms. Crockett try.
You gotta let
Jasmine,
me.
Jasmine, and I'll call you by your first name because we're friends, and I feel comfortable, and you call me Lance. So, Jasmine,
we are not
go
friends.
for it. Oh, we are.
Do not
go
ruin
ahead.
don't ruin my street cred. No, here's the thing. I will tell you that at the end of the day, for me, as a lawyer, when you have that Maxwell went through her trial in 2021, I believe that's when she was convicted. That is when Joe Biden was in power. After that, she ended up on appeal, which she is currently on appeal now. So as it relates to whether or not that Department of Justice had even concluded their investigation, I can't say that they had, number one. Number two, by releasing the files prior to her going through her appellate process, that may have ended up being an issue that administration was concerned about. That's number one. Number two.
She's in appeal now. So
okay,
using that line, you're going to pull that back?
I'm about to get to it because I saw y'all.
No, I said,
no.
I'm going to reclaim my time. Since you said we weren't friends, I'm going to reclaim my time.
The time belongs to the gentleman from
I got
Texas.
a real hard time with the Democrats saying that this is a noble cause when y'all weren't calling on Joe Biden's Justice Department to release the files. You're all a bunch of hypocrites to say this is a noble cause because none of you did anything about it. Okay. I yield back to the chairman.
I need time now, Mr. Chair. I need time now since he wanted to be selfish.
I appreciate,
I move to strike the last word.
have you used your time? No, I don't think okay, then I will go to the ranking member, then we'll come
you.
then we'll come down the dais.
Okay, we need to clean up some unfinished business. Let me start with my friend, Mr. Van Drew. I understand that was a bit of an embarrassing situation for you to be in, but I want to look to the larger. Oh, well, you accused us of not saying anything, and I gave you a letter, and we had a press conference to go with the letter. No, not yet. I'll come back to you, okay? But I demonstrated on July 10th, 2019, I sent a letter directly to Jeffrey Epstein, along with Chairman Cummings, may he rest in peace, demanding that, rather we sent it directly to Alex Acosta, demanding that he come in to defend the non-prosecution agreement that he made with Jeffrey Epstein behind closed doors and without consulting a single victim in that case, in total violation of the Crime Victims' Rights Act. And we demanded that he come in to defend that double-crossing agreement where they swept everything under the rug. And we railed about it at the time. Now, you retreated from saying you didn't hear anything from me, I didn't do anything about it, to saying, well, I'm speaking more about it now than then. Perhaps you've done some kind of comparative assessment. I'd love to see your statistical analysis of how many words I spoke back then, because I was railing about it back then versus how much I'm speaking about it now. But here's the point. All of this point, the point you just made, the point Mr. Gooden made, is a ridiculous, absurd, and humiliating distraction from the substance. In other words, you guys all agree that it should be released. In fact, you are on Mr. Massey's bill. You're on the bill. So you're saying it should be released, but you're upset because you think we're speaking about it more now than we spoke about it during the Biden administration? Give me a break. The Biden administration prosecuted and convicted Maxwell. She went to jail for 20 years. Wait, I'll come back to you, Mr. Van Drew. Listen to what I'm saying. You want to whine about the Biden administration? She was prosecuted under the Biden administration. That's why she's in prison now for 20 years. It wasn't the Trump administration, it was the Biden administration. We had every reason, as the distinguished gentle lady from Texas says, to believe that the investigation was still ongoing. And in fact, we learned more about it from Donald Trump, who was Epstein's best friend for more than 10 years. So he said there's more there. He said it's all got to be released. All the Republicans were railing about the fact it got to be released. We said we agree. I've been talking about this for 6 years, and I'm going to enter this into the record. And we had a press release and a press conference to go with it, which I'm going to introduce as well. So don't give me that nonsense about how we didn't care about child sex abuse and human trafficking before. Okay, that's number one. Now, number two. The Trump administration today is dismantling the anti-human trafficking operations of the United States government, okay? DOJ wiped out USAID, which was a very important force in attacking human trafficking networks around the world. They basically gutted at the US State Department the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons. Now you say, all of my colleagues over there say, we all hate human trafficking. We're all opposed to the abuse of children. Really? Then work with us to restore all of the funds that have been wiped out by the Trump administration. Can we do that? So this is not just like polemical games back and forth, which are not going so well for you today. I got to admit, Mr. Van Drew, if you just want to point fingers, it's not looking good for your side. Why don't you come aboard and say, let's restore all of the funding that was wiped out from the State Department, the Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons, USAID, and all of the law enforcement personnel who've been reassigned from doing human trafficking work to doing the kinds of immigration raids that have the country up in an uproar now. And I'm happy to yield to you for a second so you can respond to why you mischaracterized my record on this.
Mr. Raskin, thou protestest too much. You only talked about a plea deal in that letter. You never talked, that I've seen, about releasing the files, period. And let's really get back to the subject.
The prosecutions, this is my time, I'll reclaim my time. The reason for that is because the prosecutions were ongoing. As I just taught you a second ago, it was the Biden administration's Department of Justice that brought the prosecution against Ghislaine Maxwell. Back to you.
This could have been done for years. My point is, and it's consistent, all the moral indignation, all the righteousness, all the speeches, probably many of you have spoken more about it today than you did in your entire career. That's the reality.
Do you want the file
And my
released? We're
point is-
claiming my time. Mr. Van Drew, I'm happy to yield to you for this purpose and this purpose only. Do you demand the release of the entire Epstein file? The whole world's watching. Do you or do you not?
I'm a co-sponsor of the bill, but
Okay,
I
will
said
you sign the discharge petition today?
that's a different issue.
No, I know. That's why I'm asking it to
That
you.
should go through a proper way so
That is
that
proper.
we don't hurt innocent people. No, proper is going through committee and then going through the process of voting it on the floor. I said that when I co-sponsored it, and I say it now. The bottom line is you're talking about it more than you ever did. It's political.
Time of the gentleman
I
from
yield
Maryland.
back to
Time
ranking
has
member.
expired. Does the gentleman from New Jersey speak additional time?
Only just quickly to say, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, that what I'm trying to point out is here, everyone cares about the issue. We on the Judiciary Committee are going to delve into it, but you're just focusing purely on a political issue, and it isn't
It's 5 minutes.
consistent. I don't see the moral indignation, the moral righteousness, the purity of heart that you're professing to have. And Mr. Raskin, I think the world of you. You're one of the brightest people
Mr.
I've
Chairman,
ever
he
seen.
already struck the last word. Are you giving him a second? Are we all getting a second 5 minutes?
I did not realize that Mr. Van Drew had already spoke on the bill. We are
Yeah.
on the bill. The gentlelady is correct. Well, the gentleman from
I apologize.
the gentleman from Alabama is recognized to yield to the gentleman from New Jersey.
Mr. Chairman, I'll yield to Ms. Hageman, unless, Jeffrey, you finished?
Simply said, if you analyze this fact by fact, the reality is that they're in a much different place now than they were before there was a change of presidents. We all want to see the information released, and it will be in an appropriate way. I yield back.
I want to yield to Ms. Hageman, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlelady from Wyoming is recognized.
Thank you. Say her name, Kayla Hamilton. Say her name, Kayla Hamilton. I'm going to go back to referring to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General report, because that's what this discussion is about. And as it's already been determined, the issues associated with Jeffrey Epstein are not germane to this bill. So I'm going to focus specifically on what this bill is about and why it is necessary. According to this report, ICE did not have accurate or complete addresses for all UACs released or transferred from DHS and HHS custody. Of the 448,820 UACs that ICE transferred to HHS Office of Refugee Settlement from 2019 to 2023, most UACs were released to sponsors. According to the Joint Concept of Operations between DHS and HHS ORR should provide UACs addresses to ICE upon release to sponsors. At multiple enforcement and removal operations locations we visited, meaning the authors of this report, officers noted a recurring concern about receiving incomplete or commercial addresses for UACs instead of residences. For example, ERO officers at one location estimated addresses were incorrect 80% of the time. Let that sink in. The addresses where unaccompanied minors were released by the Biden administration, the addresses were incomplete or incorrect 80% of the time. During one site visit, the audit team and ERO officers attempted to locate 2 addresses where HHS frequently released UACs. However, these addresses did not exist. In fiscal year 2023, HHS ORR released 34 UACs to these non-existent addresses. Of the 34 UACs released to these 2 addresses, only 2 were in immigration proceedings, one of whom subsequently failed to appear in court, similar to Walter Javier Martinez, who murdered Kayla Hamilton. Finally, ICE was not always aware of the location of approximately 600 UACs whom HHS reported to ICE as fleeing HHS custody from 2019 to 23. One UAC fled 5 times in 1 year. Another UAC runaway who admitted to murdering someone in his home country had an international arrest warrant, and as of August 2024, the UAC had not appeared in court and had not been located. An ERO official noted a different UAC ran away on multiple occasions, assaulted HHS ORR staff, and admitted to being part of a Mexican cartel. Kayla Hamilton was brutally murdered by Walter Javier Martinez, a UAC who was released to a sponsor by HHS before any background checks were completed. It is imperative that we pass this bill. Thank you, Mr. Fry, for bringing it forward. With that, I yield back to you.
Will the gentlelady yield?
The time belongs to the gentleman from Alabama.
The gentleman from Alabama
will
yield to the gentleman from South Carolina?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Fry.
Ms. Hageman, I'm struck by the statistics that you read in the OIG report. In that same report, you've seen that 22% of cases that ORR did not even conduct timely safety and well-being follow-up calls to either the sponsor or to the minor child, as is required by law. Are you aware of that?
It's in the report.
You know what's interesting about this, too, and I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a phone call that was initiated by ORR 6 months after Mr. Martinez went missing. And the sponsor stated that the minor was not under her care any further since August of 2022. This was April of 2023, so we're talking 7 months after. And that the minor, quote, left me to be with his brother. He wanted to hang out on the streets and do what he was doing in his home country / getting in trouble on the streets and hanging out with gang members, end quote. Isn't that alarming that our own government can't even identify and find where these children are? With that, I yield back.
Yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I move to strike the last
Gentleman
word.
yields back. Before recognizing the gentleman from New York, I just ask unanimous consent to enter into the record press statement from Thursday, July 2nd, 2020. First Trump administration. This is the United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, detailing the indictment of Ghislaine Maxwell in federal court that particular day.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, can I have a UC too?
UC from the gentleman from Maryland.
This is the prior reference letter to Alexander Acosta, July 10th,
objection.
2019, and a press release to that effect also, and then a letter to William Barr also demanding information December 20th, 2019.
Without objection, gentlelady from Wyoming is recognized for
I
unanimous
ask
consent.
unanimous consent to submit into the record the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Office of Inspector General final report dated March 25th, 2025. ICE cannot effectively monitor the location and status of all unaccompanied alien children after federal custody.
Without objection. Gentleman from New York is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's go through the history of the Epstein files. During the Biden administration, this was cause celeb number one for the extreme MAGA right, that there was some massive conspiracy to hide